Good evening, and welcome to the television graveyard. We are your TV necromancers, Laura Prince and Noah Houlihan. We have come here tonight to examine the spirits of past television shows, to find out which ones could be resurrected, should be resurrected, and which ones should just stay doomed. This has been a podcast in which we analyze the history, the hype, and the aftermath of shows that ran only one season, including some that ran only one episode. But this is a time for reflection. With me, as always, is TV's Noah Houlihan.
Good evening, and welcome to the television graveyard. We are your TV necromancers, Laura Prince and Noah Houlihan.
I almost broke I try not to curse on this, because I immediately, in the first 30 seconds of this podcast, almost called you an a-hole.
So we're doing something different. We have wrapped season 1 of Stay Doomed.
Yeah.
A podcast about shows that run one season or less. And we thought that this would be a good time to look back at our own episodes.
Yeah!
Yeah!
So, we've done 53 episodes over about 51 TV shows.
Yes.
Because we had 2 double episodes.
Well, there's a couple movies in there.
Yes, there's 5 movies.
Yeah.
So, 45 TV shows and 5
special movies.
episodes. We developed this project, I want to say, I've been kicking it around for ages.
This is something that we talked about for a while, and the two ideas that were like neck and neck on what we were going to do was this one and Talk to Your Kids About Podcast, where we would watch the very special episodes of shows and talk about them.
Yeah, that was going to be a lot of research.
That was going to be more research, but less watching, for sure.
Yeah.
But my fear for that show was always going to be, this is going to get repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's child abuse, safe sex, drugs. Adults bad touching children.
Yeah.
Most of your very special episodes cover, 1 of 10.
Yeah, topics. And they're all the same formula of,
character you've never seen before.
Yeah, a character you've never seen before shows up with... ends up affecting one of our known characters. Our known character ends up with a problem that should take years to deal with, and it's wrapped up before the end of the episode.
Yeah, I think the good prototype of that was the episode where Stephanie's friend was abused in Full House, of her friend's abused. She tells Uncle Jesse, he tells an adult, we never see the friend again.
Yeah.
Or it's something that affects a main character but is resolved far too quickly.
Yeah.
DJ has an eating disorder for 10 minutes.
Yeah, for 10 whole minutes, or...
Which is not how eating disorders work. People struggle with them for years, if not the rest of their lives.
Arnold joins a gang for a few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So we shied away from that, and we decided we really wanted to do this look at not necessarily flops, because that's the one thing people tend to get confused, is they think that we're purposely watching bad television and then crapping all over it. And we're not. We're looking for value in shows that did not get a full run. I
mean, we're watching flops in that we're watching shows that did not do well,
right,
for the most part. But you can be a flop and be of good quality.
Yeah.
There's a whole TV trope called acclaimed flop.
Yeah. We're not watching garbage.
Yes.
Is I think the point I was trying to make there.
A little bit of garbage.
We're not specifically looking for bad shows to talk crap on.
Yeah, we're not doing this to torture ourselves. We're not doing this to make you interested in trash.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be interested in Daisy of Love, then enjoy our trash.
But this is not a how did this get made where they're watching something that shouldn't exist. This is a look at does this have value? Why does it have value? Why did it get canceled?
Yeah, this is when I first started listening to How Did This Get Made. Stay Doomed is what I wanted How Did This Get Made to be.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be more of the actual question it posed in the podcast about how it got made.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of this came from.
So we're going to go through our own episodes and say a little bit about each piece. We won't go bit by bit summary like we usually do with these this podcast. And then at the end, we'll talk about the future and we'll
talk about what we learned overall.
What we learned, yeah.
So the first one was Superstar USA, and a lot of people hate early episodes of their own work. Superstar USA contains one of my favorite moments of our entire podcast.
This might be our best episode, still.
I'm not sure about that. There are other episodes I've really thought we did well on, but this has one of my all-time favorite moments.
Yeah, Superstar USA was reverse American Idol, where they were looking for the worst singer, and it was just a big prank, because the people on the show thought that they were good singers, and at the end they were going to reveal that they were the worst singers.
And my favorite thing with this was telling you that why the audience had reacted the way they did. Was telling you that they had convinced the studio audience that the singers were from not the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They didn't say Make-A-Wish, but from like the Dreams Come True Foundation or something like deliberately twisted to sound like the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah, implying that these people were terminally ill and it would be rude to boo them.
Yes. And you didn't know that. I'd found that when I was researching the show, and you did not take it well.
Oh, it crushed my spirit.
And it was episode 1.
Yeah, it was such a big reveal that, like, as a host of the show, I was like, this is some quality programming we're putting out right there.
Yes.
It turns out not every TV show lies about people being Make-A-Wish kids.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a big reveal every episode, but that was an awesome moment.
Yeah, we often had smaller reveals.
Right.
But this was one of the first. This is one of the only ones that had such a huge reveal. Mm-hmm. This was a fun one to do.
Yeah, I really loved that. And, I believe we Stay Doomed it.
Yes.
But, very interesting concept, and like it's interesting to see a show that could not exist now.
We see quite a few shows that couldn't exist today.
Yeah,
like Mad House, our second episode.
Mad House, and this was the first one we had watched where I had already seen it.
Yes,
and this really shows like the kind of different direction we go at things. Because whenever we talk about a reality show, I'm always big on like, this is why this doesn't function as a game. Mm-hmm. And you're focused more on, like, this is why this doesn't work as entertainment.
Yes. And the thing with this show was, there was a surprising amount of research on this show. Like, this show, more than any other, surprised me by how much I found.
Yeah.
Because everyone wanted to say their piece about how their lifestyle was represented. The White Witch had to kind of say her piece on the fact that it looked like she blatantly favored certain male competitors.
It looked like there was a showmance, but it was all editing, apparently.
Which, you still did all those things.
Yeah, we still had all this footage.
Yeah, like, there was still a lot of footage there. It didn't have any, like, really high-quality reveals, but this was a fun episode to do.
Right.
I don't have a good segue into I Want to Marry Harry.
Well, we should. I just want to mention our first month was all
reality
shows.
Yes.
So during our first month, we were all doing these reality shows, and we had to have a dating show, and we went with I Want to Marry Harry.
And this was another show with a big gotcha.
Yeah.
They were trying to sell you that you were going to be dating Harry, the Prince of England.
Prince of Wales.
Prince of Wales. Is he technically the Prince of Wales?
I believe that's. I mean, we watched the whole show about it. I'm pretty sure it was Harry, the Prince of Wales.
I think, actually, Charles is Prince of Wales? He's technically the Duke of Sussex.
Is that new information? Because this show is a few years old.
No, Charles is Prince of Wales and Diana was Princess of Wales.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a whole list of freaking rules about this.
All right.
That was why, like, there was one point where somebody talked about Harry's mother. I'm not sure now, because this was almost a year ago, whether it was you or somebody on TV, and I was like, Harry's mother is very famously dead.
I'm pretty sure it was me. Because the whole debate of that episode was how stupid are these women not to know it's Prince Harry? Followed by me showing how stupid I am in my knowledge of Prince Harry, which just happened again. I thought he was the Prince of Wales.
And I remember, like, reading interviews with some of the girls and, like, how the producers kind of intentionally drove them insane.
Yeah.
Like, they kept them for 72 hours in a hotel room and, like, with nothing and no TV even.
That's common reality show practice.
And one girl was like, yeah, I memorized, like, whole pages of the Bible. There was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
They didn't take the Bible out of the drawer. So that was all she had to do, was read the Bible. Which is really interesting.
I mean, 72 hours in just a room with no television. That's rough. You can only do so many push-ups.
Yeah. And there's, like, I think of what I would do, and I'm like, they probably wouldn't have let me have a puzzle book. No Game Boy. No, like, I would have gotten crackers in about 12 hours.
Yeah, I think I would have just filled up the notepad with, like, a story, and then been like, okay, I'm out of paper.
I think there would have been a point where I just started drawing on the walls in lipstick and let them think I was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Harry's gonna love him.
Speaking of insanity, whodunit?
Whodunit? What a fantastic show this was.
I enjoyed the hell out of this show. There was a lot of good research on it.
Yeah, and this is one of those ones where it's like, man, this is super entertaining. Not great in terms of reality show, but okay.
Because we're going to talk about this toward the end of this episode when we talk about the quest, in how this was very much a movie that you were in.
Yeah.
And, like, this had a little bit more player determination than the quest does.
Right.
In that, you know, the contestants had to solve these murders, they had to take a written test.
Yeah.
They never really, like, whoever got the worst score was killed, but we didn't really find out. So it's much more objective than most reality shows in how they get rid of you. There's usually something considerably more subjective.
Yeah, and especially since that, like, you could not find out who done it. Like, you could only find out how done it.
Yeah, especially because who done it, the producers had to intervene because the contestant who turned out to be the killer was playing too well.
Yeah.
And they had to tell her to stop winning challenges.
Mm-hmm. That's a fascinating one.
Which is a big clue that the gameplay is super broken.
Yeah, yeah. When they didn't account for the idea that one of the players was going to ruin the game.
And then, so that was Reality Month, and that was a really fun month, and we did that whole month before we even launched an episode.
Yeah, this is something very interesting, because episode 0, where we kind of say what this show is going to be about, it ends with us saying, like, we are going to go record one of the episodes. Mm-hmm. I think we're somewhere in the middle. There's one,
I think it's Good Family. I think
it's
episode
Good
6.
Family. Yeah, because we're 6 episodes deep, and because we had already planned out 2 months of the show.
Yes.
And we had announced that in October we were going to do Spoopy Month, and we were taking suggestions.
Yes.
So we were like a month and a half ahead of the game going into this.
The next month was Adult Animation Month.
Yes.
And this torpedoes that.
Yeah, this was
So quickly.
I mean, a little bit. There's stuff coming up that really hurts us.
The next 2 months kill us.
Yeah. But this is where we do Extacles.
And this is the time I got called a female slur on the internet.
Yeah, Extacles, one of our most popular episodes. But the people who comment on that episode hate you.
Yeah, it's... They don't really prove their own point super well, because I complain the show is misogynist, and then they make misogynist slurs toward me.
Fuck this girl.
Oh, no, they usually don't call me a girl.
I know, I'm not going to put a recording of me using the C word on the internet.
Yeah, so, like, it was a successful episode, but it was, I got called a lot of slurs over this episode, and I'm gonna say it, Extacles is still terrible. Suck it. Because I'm not happy that I called a bunch of slurs over it.
Yeah, I understand.
So now I'm going to dig in my heels even more.
And I'm still going to say, I like that show. I thought it was funny. I think with more time, it could have grown into a very good show. But it only got 2 episodes, and what is there can be seen as very misogynist. There's a lot of rape jokes in it.
Because it is very misogynist,
Yes.
as it turns out. The Good Family?
The Good Family
Was one of the things that started nailing down the backlog.
This was our first one that felt like a slog. This
Yes.
is the first one that when we sat down, we didn't want to watch anymore.
Yeah.
And it sucks because this was one I was excited for. Because before we had watched it, I had seen 1 episode and I thought it was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought there was going to be a lot of potential to this.
And we both enjoy King of the Hill.
Yeah, we both like King of the Hill. And this show just fails at being a good spin-off to King of the Hill.
Yeah, it fails at being a good complement to it.
Yes.
Because this was supposed to kind of be liberal King of the Hill, but it lacked the heart.
Right.
Like, Mike Judge's prejudices do show a lot in this. Like,
yeah.
He clearly sympathizes significantly more with Hank Hill than he does with the Good Family.
Hank Hill is a conservative turned up to 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still likable. The Good Families are liberals turned up to 1,000, and there's not, like, a good base to, like, get them.
Yeah, somebody, like, called us, like, oh, you're too close to being the Good Family.
Yeah, someone said it hit too close to home, and, like, that's the opposite of what we said.
Yeah, like, I'm liberal, and the funniest things were, like, the objective, like, making fun of Whole Foods stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, every day something else is newly going to kill you or not going to kill you. And, like, I went grocery shopping today and forgot my plastic bags and felt the shame.
Yeah, we felt the shame.
So, like, I just thought it was interesting. And this was also the second episode in a row where I'd been insulted. So I was like, I hate this show. But The Good Family was just... It was a longer one. You know what's weird? It was only 13 half hours.
It felt long, though.
Which was not... But we couldn't get through more than, like, 2 in a day.
Yeah, because, like...
Because some shows, we could get through 3 hours in a day. Like, when we did Whodunit, we were crushing 3 45-minute episodes in a day.
Yeah, Whodunit, we blasted through, and, like, we watched some of it at a convention.
DexCon, yeah.
Yeah, we went to DexCon, and we're like, let's watch more Whodunit. Not, like, for work, but because, like, I'm excited for the next episode.
We watched the one on the ranch. I remember that. And we watched the one with the 2 women who got exsanguinated.
Yes.
And, like, those... Like, we're watching them. I'm, like, taking notes. That was a great show.
Yeah, super enjoyable.
The Good Family, we were in the comfort of our home and could not get through it. And then the next episode started a rule.
Oh, the Game Over rule.
Yes.
Game Over was a cartoon on UPN, or was it the CW at this point?
It was UPN.
It was UPN, that took place in a world of video games.
And this should have been so much better than it was.
And we really wanted to enjoy it, because there's so much value to that idea.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just done so poorly.
It's so bad. It clearly had, like, never spoken to someone who actually plays video games.
Yeah.
And I think the amount of focus on the child characters not yet having their place, like, they didn't seem to know what they were doing real well yet.
Yeah, also the dog, played by Artie Lang, that was, like, just a gross character.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, not a fan of that. So we had to come up with a Game Over rule, because we would both give it a stay tuned if you fixed 3 or 4 things that were easily fixable. But at that point, it would no longer be that show.
Yes.
So we had to give it a stay tuned due to the Game Over rule.
Which was newly stated.
Yes.
And then that was also a slog. That was also, like, it didn't run that many
6
episodes.
It was 6 episodes.
And we, like, had the hardest time getting through them.
I
Because they were
don't want to turn it on.
Utterly unlovable.
Yeah.
And then the next episode was one we got through in,
Too
like,
fast.
3 days.
Too fast.
Clone High.
Clone High. And I think, I'll say it now, I think this is the best show we watched.
I'm not sure it's the best show we watched, but it was easily in my top 5.
Because Clone High
Probably top 2.
Clone High, out of everything, is the only one I've considered watching again.
Okay.
Because on my YouTube, it keeps suggesting, like, someone put up every episode as one video. And I was like, I could just put this on and just have it on in the background, because I love this show so much.
I actually taught my intern at work, nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. Because I kept, like, saying that for no reason that week.
It's so funny.
It's,
like, this is the one that, like, legitimately upset about the fact that there's not more of it.
It also has an interesting cancellation story.
Right.
Outside of, like, nobody was watching. Like, this show should have run, to quote Abed, 6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah. Make the movie. Make the Clone College movie.
Please.
Just do it.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I know you're not listening, but if you were, I know you're probably working on, like, the Spider-Man sequel or another Lego movie, but, like, Clone College. Please, there's an audience.
Yeah, I think we have to just real quick explain that it is the story of clones that were all made at the same time, so they're all in college at the same time. And it focuses mainly on Cleopatra, JFK, Abraham Lincoln, Joan of Arc, and Gandhi.
And Gandhi was the reason it was canceled, because in India, MTV India was appalled by the representation of Gandhi, and for some reason they ended up just killing the show, even though the creators had just planned to write Gandhi out.
Yeah, they were just like, we'll never address it again.
And they weren't actually planning to write Gandhi out, they were just planning to drop the character and never speak of it.
Yeah, and I guess it's tough when, like, you want us to invest more money in a show where we cannot air the first season.
That's true. I think it would have been hard to run the first season in reruns.
Yeah, I mean, like, you ended on a cliffhanger that you can't address.
And the show also got retroactively sad, because when Luke Perry passed away later this year, like, everyone was talking about the roles he played, and I was like, Ponce!
Yeah, he plays Ponce de Leon in
the very special episode.
Do you remember what that episode's called? Because I do.
Oh, what is that episode called?
It's called Litter Kills Literally. And it's about Ponce de Leon. Everyone is littering, and he ends up getting his hand caught in, like, one of those plastic soda things, and then he falls into a plastic bag.
And suffocates. It's very ridiculous.
Oh, God. Everything about that show made me so happy.
Oh, my God. And it, like, actually handled the female characters surprisingly well. Mm-hmm. It was the only adult animation show where I was not outwardly annoyed.
And I said this on the episode, and I'll say it again. The idea in high school is you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and you're never going to be good enough. Like, that's how you feel in high school. Like, the world is weighing down on you because you are about to stop being a child, and you're going to have to be an adult soon. You magnify that on the fact that you're also a clone of one of the greatest historical figures ever.
Yeah, the insane pressure and legacy.
Like, it's such a great idea for a show. Like, the fact that someone came up with this show is insane.
Like, the fact that someone came up with this show and then made a good quality... Like, they didn't lean on being lazy. They didn't let the gimmick of the show be the whole joke.
Yeah.
It was an incredible pastiche of the teen shows airing at that time. Because we were about the right age for that show. Like, we were about 16 when it aired, when the characters were 16. So we were the target audience at that time.
Yeah. And it's a great comparison to Game Over.
Yes.
Because, like, Game Over, a joke in Game Over is someone walks up to the father and punches him, and he goes, "What is this, Vice City?" Like, on the nose, look at this, look at this, look at this. A joke in Clone High is Madame Curie's there, and she's disfigured.
Because of the radium.
Because of the radiation that would be in her body when they tried to clone her, she didn't come out right. That's never explicitly said. But if you know who Madame Curie is, of course that happened.
Well, there's a joke with Ava Perón. It's this throwaway joke in the prom episode. Where, like, they say, an Ava Perón, and then she drops a line from the musical. Not a major one. Mm-hmm. And it caught me so off guard, we paused it. Because I could not stop laughing at it. Because it was such a weird, deep-cut musical theater history joke.
Yeah, and I also love the idea of the Bronte sisters.
Oh my god.
Because since they're clones, they're now all the same age.
So that was Adult Animation Month. And that started to kill our backlog real bad.
Yeah, we started to fall behind a little bit here, and then we're like, we'll be okay, though. We're still going to keep rolling through here. And then, well... Was this a fourth Monday?
No. Oh. Our first one of those was Spoopy Month.
Okay.
We're about to roll into Spoopy Month.
Spoopy Month. And we started with the amazing Screw-On Head.
I loved this.
I gave this a stay doomed, I believe.
Yeah, you didn't care for this as much as I did.
Yeah, I hated the animation. I hated how it looked.
It looked exactly like the comic.
I know.
I loved it. To the point where, when we're in public... I will still go, "Yes, my love."
Yeah, we do still quote this one.
I really enjoyed this show. I thought this was a lot of fun. I gave it a stay tuned, knowing for a fact that, like, if it had been picked up, it would not have run very long.
Yeah.
But I really did enjoy it, and I would have watched more. The voice cast was first class.
I believe my official word on it was, it's a stay tuned for me, and I know I'm wrong.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Squirrel on Head.
Yeah. It's one episode. Check that one out if you don't know much about it. It's got David Hyde Pierce in it. It's fun.
It's really funny because I'm reading what you used to write for the, because you used to write the descriptions.
Yes.
And they're so different from the descriptions I write.
Yeah, because I'd always, like, give a question of some sort. And, like, I always said something kind of weird.
The next one was Over the Garden Wall.
Yes.
Which was, I wanted to make you watch Over the Garden Wall.
Yes. If I'm remembering correctly, Over the Garden Wall, I give a stay doomed. And then while I was editing it, I added a voice clip of me changing my mind.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if I actually included it or if it was something I wanted to do, but I started to really enjoy it while I was, like, pulling the clips out for this episode.
Well, I kind of had that thought of, like, I got a lot out of... I'd seen Over the Garden Wall before. Mm-hmm. And I got a lot out of that second watch. Watching it again, knowing what happens, is a lot of, oh no!
Yeah.
And, like, oh, that's so clever!
Yeah, anything that rewards a second playthrough or a second watch through, I'm always very appreciative of.
It's one of my favorite... When you say, like... Clone High was your favorite show. That's why I'm saying I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's my top 10, because I love Over the Garden Wall.
Well, I would say that I understand why you might like Over the Garden Wall more than Clone High. Mm-hmm. If you had to give either of them a second season.
I want that second season of Clone High so bad.
Exactly. Because Over the Garden Wall, like, one of the reasons I would say it should stay doomed is it's done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it needs more.
I mean, it's gotten more. Like, in comics.
Right.
Like Firefly, like Buffy, it's kind of expanded into another universe through comics. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, there's source material.
That's true. That is true.
Go to Cartoon Network.
Yes, make happen.
Steven Universe is ending. You need something else.
It's still on?
The finale movie, I believe, airs... We're currently...
Currently?
No, I think tonight.
Oh my god.
So now you know it's September 2nd. Steven Universe movie. I'm gonna look it up. Initial release September 2nd, 2019.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's airing tonight. So, good job, me.
Oh.
Now we're gonna get to the backlog killer.
Yeah, this was the one that killed us.
Yeah. Nightmare Ned.
Nightmare Ned is a Saturday morning cartoon.
So it was crazy repetitive.
Yes. About Ned, who has nightmares. Like, this is the first one where... we had it on and just started doing other things.
I folded laundry.
We're just like, I would get up and leave the room and go do something because, like, we weren't gonna miss anything.
Yeah, it was, and like Ned was horrendously unlikable as a character.
Mm-hmm. And because I remember, like, one of the big things about it was it's remembered very fondly because of the video game.
Yes.
So I watched a playthrough of the video game, and it was equally as terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if nostalgia goggles were really in play.
Yeah, this was like one of the bottom of the barrels for us, and like I think I give it a stay tuned, because what I end up saying is like, if this was a show that came on once a week while I was doing my homework, I'd probably leave it on, but watching it this way made it so terrible.
And I think it's worth mentioning that, like, this is October. You and I got married in early November.
Yes.
So we are trying to do this show in the midst of, like, the end stage of wedding planning.
Well, this is what brings about our theme next month.
Yes.
Is our wedding. So let's get through these the spoopies.
Lucy, Daughter of the Devil is
Lucy,
next.
Daughter of the Devil.
This one was fun.
Is one of our most popular episodes on YouTube. I know that.
Somebody got mad because they thought we had linked the episodes.
Yeah, this was a strange one. Oh, and then this is something else I wanted to bring up about Exticles that I forgot about. But someone yelled at me because Lucy, Daughter of the Devil wasn't the series. It was a podcast about it. So he called me a skmunt.
Yeah. Which I don't know what that means.
And I replied to it, and I was like, dude, there's a link to the full show in the description. Like, just watch it. Like, I still provided you with what you wanted. I'm not a skmunt. But this is also one of our most copywritten claimed episodes.
Is it?
Because I put all the songs in it.
Whoops.
So, like, there are several countries that you are unable to listen to that episode on YouTube.
Our B.
But the other one that got me was someone commented on the Exticles episode and said something like, we called the computer a rip-off Cortana. And he wrote, rip-off Cortana. Yeah, because that didn't happen 10 years after this show came out or anything. And I responded back, Halo came out in this year, Exticles came out in this year. Like Halo came out 4 years before Exticles. What do you mean? And that's all I said. And he responded, look, I just don't like your podcast, okay? And I went to respond, yeah, that's fine, man. You don't have to listen to it. And by the time I had done it, he had deleted all of his comments.
I just went to Exticles again, and there's a comment from a month ago. The girl on the podcast is awful. That's just my opinion, though. And, it says that just my opinion, so it was not... So if you're going to insult me on my podcast, maybe spell stuff right.
Just saying.
Like, I don't care that I'm antagonizing these people more.
But, Lucy, Daughter of the Devil is one of my favorite episodes that we did.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, interesting things about that show. And, just fun in general. Is there a comment on the Nightmare Ned podcast?
Yeah, they didn't... this is a very interesting review. I was pretty surprised you guys didn't like the game, since to me at least it was more visually interesting and had more budget. I do feel the game is worthy of remembrance. TV show, however, I agree 100%. It was a complete letdown, and read more. Had little to no substance. Ned at best is extremely bland with no personality, and at worst an unlikable self-centered brat. Yeah, he's pretty dislikable.
Yeah. So Nightmare Ned, like, this is... We had a 6-episode, like, backlog.
Yeah.
And, like, we lose a huge chunk of it at that episode.
Yeah, we do.
Lucy, Daughter of the Devil, we do. And, like, we're also trying to, like, get a backlog back at this point because we know our wedding is coming up.
Yeah, and we're, like, getting desperate. And Lucy, Daughter of the Devil was fun.
Was a lot of fun. And, like, a lot of the problems with it were, like, on purpose. Because, like, we talk about how Lucy is not the star of the show.
Right.
But that's also the point. And, like, the arc of the show was going to be her kind of becoming more of a devil.
Yeah.
But because there's only one season, we never see it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the issues with any one-season show, is that you can not tell... You and I were discussing this with The Office, as a counterexample.
Yeah.
How I hate the romantic false lead trope.
Right.
So I hated the, like, oh, Pam is engaged to Roy, so she can't be with Jim. Mm-hmm. And how you argued that it came to pass when we got to Roy's wedding way later.
Yeah, like, that was worth it.
But Roy's wedding was, like, season 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. So it took so long for that storyline to really pay off. Mm-hmm. And how, when these one-season shows, you never get that payoff.
Right.
So, like, all we can really say is, like, I didn't feel like Lucy had any agency in her own show. Mm-hmm. But Lucy might have had agency by season 2 or season 3.
Yeah.
Our next episode was Crybaby Lane.
Crybaby Lane, which was a very special episode. It's the only episode that has guests.
Yes.
We had Jeff and Jen from the Party of One podcast on.
Yep.
And and this wasn't a one-season wonder, or a one-episode wonder. This is a lost Nickelodeon movie.
Yeah, this was... we had the idea to do something different on the 5th Mondays.
Yes.
So we did this... And it was also, like, short.
Yeah.
It was an hour and a half long TV movie. So we were able to kind of fit it into... We watched and recorded immediately.
Yeah.
Which we almost never do.
We never watch and then immediately record, because...
I usually like to sit on things and think about them.
Yeah, you do some research and stuff like that, but, like, we just watched it and just like, all right, let's record, let's go. That was an interesting experiment that we had guests. Guests are something that I think is something we should revisit.
Yeah, it's hard because we have to do the shorter runs with guests, because it's hard to be like, hi, would you like to be a guest on our podcast? Here's 14 hours of homework.
Yeah. Watch all of this before you arrive.
Yeah, so it's a little bit harder to do guests unless we're doing shorter runs.
Right.
So that's kind of one of the reasons. And a lot of the times the shorter run shows were because we were desperately trying to stay on schedule.
Yeah.
Because by this point we have lost our backlog and we are desperately trying to keep afloat.
Yeah.
Which is a pattern that kind of picks up for the entire next, 4 months.
Not yet. Because we do get a backlog back for what's coming up here.
Yes,
because we go to Disney and we don't miss anything.
We're in November still, right now.
I know, this is us trying to get our backlog back, though.
Yeah, we don't get the backlog back till December.
Oh, all right.
November and early December, we are treading water with our wedding, and my work was crazy at this point. Mm-hmm. So then we did Backdoor Pilot Month, which was another 1-episode month with... this was the first 1-episode month.
Yeah, this was our idea of just this way we'll only have to watch 1 episode, and these are pilots that exist in actual television shows.
Parasite TV.
Yeah, so this is their attempt to try to test the waters on a new show by including it in a show you already like. And our first one is The Farm, which is a backdoor pilot that aired during The Office. This is our most popular YouTube video.
Yes, also our most disliked.
Is it our most disliked?
Yeah, there's 19 dislikes on it for some reason.
Probably because a lot of people think it's that episode from The Office.
Fair enough.
And then find out it's a podcast.
I mean, we're not subtle. It's Stay Doomed. 14. These were really interesting to do because you could see where they were trying to build this new world for Dwight.
Yes.
And how Dwight is this crazy character on The Office, but they were trying to center him as the straight man, the Michael from Arrested Development in this world.
Yeah.
And where that does and doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting one, and you can definitely feel that it's a pilot. It ends with what would clearly be the theme song.
Yeah.
And
which is that Sweet December song.
Yeah. You see a romantic interest show up that's not Angela.
Yeah.
To kind of nope, this will be where the story goes now.
And the rest of the characters are in this very minor, very dumb, very shoehorned plot.
Yeah, there's just and stuff is still happening at the office.
Just to make sure, which is very common in backdoor pilots, of being oh, the characters you like still exist. They're still in this episode. This isn't a pilot or anything. Why would you think that?
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, this was a really good... the next one was Pendragon, which was a lot of fun because you were so confused.
Yeah, this is a backdoor pilot that comes from the show Gargoyles.
Yes.
And I don't watch Gargoyles. I was never a Gargoyles, fan. Nothing against it. Just never watched it. And I was baffled 100% of the time for this. This is the only one that I watched twice.
Okay.
Because, we watched it, I was I don't understand what was happening.
That's not true. We watched Screw on Head twice.
Did we watch Screw on Head twice?
We did.
Well, this one, I watched alone again.
Yes.
Because I was I don't remember anything, and I don't understand what happened. And the second time through it, I was I'm still not positive what's happening in this show.
I liked this one, but it was a weird... It would have been a really weird sell for a kid's show, and I kind of get why it wasn't
King Arthur's Court. Kids love King Arthur's Court.
I mean, it was the 90s. We had just gotten the film A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
This is true.
But yeah, it was a hard sell for a kid's show. I get that.
Yeah, I feel there's always this idea of, kids love ninjas. Kids love, monsters and dinosaurs. And these are the things kids like. Knights. We can get them to like knights. And it never quite gets there.
Yeah, it's medieval times in the Ren Fair.
And it's no, knights are not one of the cool things.
So then we have 22 short films about Springfield.
Yes. That was a cool episode, too, to pull something from The Simpsons and basically be this is just what The Simpsons became.
It was super interesting because I had not actually seen the Steamed Hams sequence in its entirety, but this was right when it was becoming a meme.
It's crazy to think that people are still discovering their favorite thing about The Simpsons.
Yeah.
The Aurora Borealis in your kitchen at this time of year. Yes.
It's fun because I can actually look up right around when we record episodes.
Yeah.
Because I can pull up my notes on them. So we kind of have a backlog right now.
Right.
It's more than a week before the episode release date.
Yeah, we're trying.
But barely. So this one was really, really interesting because it was so many iconic moments, and this was before, The Simpsons kind of became the whipping boy of adult animation.
Yeah.
Now everyone's kind of like, oh, Simpsons, that show that used to be good.
Yeah. It's now been bad longer than it's been good.
Oh,
Isn't that weird?
Really sad to think about. And then the next one was Wayward Sisters, which this was a very popular episode.
Well, yeah, because I don't think enough people were talking about it outside of the fandom.
Yeah, so they were really excited to see, outsiders address Wayward Sisters.
Coming in and be like, let's talk about this episode. It's great.
And all of the comments are so mad about Wayward Sisters not getting picked up. No one's mad at us.
Yeah, this is a spinoff of Supernatural that they were trying to make. And this was so good, I was like, I'd like to watch more Supernatural. How many seasons of Supernatural are there?
Oh, God.
Oh, I don't have time for this.
I believe it's 15.
I think it's close to 15 now.
15.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this. I was still tempted to be like, maybe I'll start episode 1 of Supernatural. But no, I don't have time.
Well, Supernatural's an interesting show because the earlier episodes are very Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
And then it starts to pick up this, incredibly dense lore. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things is now it has just severe continuity lockout.
Yeah, I'd have to start from the beginning.
And you'd have to, catch up quick.
And the problem is, if I were to try to watch Supernatural, my thought would be, who are these two doofuses?
Yeah.
Where are these cool women that I fell in love with?
Yeah, and, the women, especially early in Supernatural, are treated quite badly.
Oh, are they?
It's a lot of, stuffing in the fridge.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I think it's improved, but I'm not positive.
Well, they did make Wayward Sisters, that's for sure.
Yeah, and let me tell you, people are mad.
Yeah. Do we have any fun comments to read?
There's some of them are very long. Yeah,
oh my, yeah
they're all
people have written us books.
Yeah, I read all of them, but they're very, very, very long and very, very, very upset.
Yeah.
So they are pretty unhappy about Wayward Sisters not being picked up. So, and they're all all of the commenters are really happy that we talked about it, but kind of use the comment section to still be mad at the CW. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't have any ins at the CW.
Yeah.
But this was a super fun month. It was a nice month to do because it was quick.
Yes.
And then we get to December, which was game show month. Yeah,
which again we thought would be quick, and turns out to be one of our most painful months. And the only month where we kind of cheat.
Well, we have the problem with game show month of a lot of the shows had lost episodes that we couldn't find.
They had lost episodes, and there was also a lot of misinformation that we got.
Yes.
Because we start with You Don't Know Jack, which we did watch all of.
Yes.
And that was fine.
Yes.
It's a fun idea. It's one of those ones that's better entertainment and not a great game show.
It's a terrible game show.
Because the one thing that I keep saying, what makes a game show work is you want to be on it.
And I could not imagine being on it.
I don't think you want to be on any of the shows we watch.
No.
So, You Don't Know Jack is it's impossible to win, and it's kind of funny. And there's a weird plot. I almost think this show would work better if it wasn't actually a game show.
I think it would work better as kind of Actually on College Humor, where it's people on staff. And guests, so you're watching, a YouTuber you get put out by all this. And not a cop with a family who needs the money.
I would go even further to say, I think this would work better as a Larry Sanders show. Where it's about making this game show.
Yes.
And don't even have real contestants. And don't really give out money.
Yeah, and, like, Paul Rubens would do it.
Yeah, that would be a very fun show.
And, like, you could decide whether you want Paul Rubens to be Paul Rubens playing this guy, and he's playing a dual role of Paul Rubens and the host.
Yeah.
Or if he's just going to play the host as himself.
You could have continuity. What a concept.
Oh, God. We do a lot of this where we, like, rewrite certain shows. Mm-hmm. So then we have Chase.
Was Chase actually next?
Yeah, yes.
I thought we ended the game show month with Chase.
No, we end on Chamber Chair.
Oh, okay. Chase was cool, sci-fi show. We do Chase because I couldn't find another show that I wanted to do, which was, it's something like Mad House. It's called something like that.
Yeah.
Where it was about, like, finding money in a haunted mansion. But instead we do Chase, which is a live-action video game.
This was fun.
This was fun. Every episode's different enough that it didn't feel repetitive. But it's always kind of stupid.
Yes. We're still dog paddling with a, like, 1-episode backlog at this point.
And that's also a show where we're like, that was reshot. That was reshot. That was a reshoot.
I definitely was doing other things during some of these episodes, too.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was, like, grading papers or something at one point.
Yeah, it was...
Because they were very long and repetitive, because gameplay could get very repetitive.
It's like, oh, they're running from the guy again.
If they were running from the guy, something was happening. Mm-hmm. If they were just walking around, hanging out, it was very boring.
Collecting monies.
So then we did Trashed.
Yeah, Trashed is our biggest cheat that we do, because this is when you did research saying that there was only, like, 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And then, like, later research revealed that there was, like, 40.
And we never found anything.
And I was like, we're watching 1 episode of this.
Yeah, it was a bad show.
Yeah, it fails all the categories of a game show. Because the first thing it makes you think is, I don't want to be on this show. The second thing is, I don't care about anything going on in this show. And the third is, I don't believe this is a game show.
Yeah, like, nothing about it felt accurate or right or good.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like that's a lie. Like, the trivia's not interesting. And, like, I definitely don't want to be on the show. The only thing that was interesting about Trashed was like, hey, I know that comedian.
Yeah. Oh, about, like, his guests.
Yeah, because, like, Doug Benson just ran by.
That happened twice.
Yeah, that happened.
We had a couple shows where we were like, oh, look, Doug Benson.
Hey, look, it's Doug Benson.
Why is it Doug Benson? Okay. It's just funny. And then we ended with Chamber Chair, which was our other big cheat.
Yeah, in our defense, we found a playlist for the Chamber. So we're like, oh, okay, this must be every episode. And it turned out it was like 1 episode, a commercial, and then like someone else's video about the Chamber.
Oh, because I laughed, because when we did the Whodunit episode, somebody was like, oh, I made a whole playlist of all the Whodunit episodes. And you and I were like, we know.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Because that's what we watched.
Yeah, I wish I had thanked more YouTubers.
Yeah, because we did. Throughout
our because I had to find the clips from somewhere. And often it's YouTube. Yeah, also, since we're doing a retrospective, big thanks to ytcutter.com that lets me cut like the exact clip I need out of a YouTube video and download it. They are the main reason why our YouTube videos now contain videos instead of just the audio. Because it was easier to take the full video than it was to just take the audio. So when that change happened, I was like, all right, here we go.
And then the next one was Word Slam, which enraged me.
Yes, Word Slam, this was another like weird one. It's not really a game show. It's not really a documentary. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens where we barely get to see gameplay. And I was a contestant, but do not appear in the show at all.
Yeah. It's a broken game.
Yeah, it's a broken, unfun game. Like,
and the documentary's uninteresting.
Word Slam would be an okay board game.
And yet.
And yet it became a game show.
And then this next one was the pilot month.
Yes, RI Pilots, where we made no choices. We only just took what was the top upvoted on our RI pilots on Reddit. And we got some gems out of this.
Yes, we did. But this was the one where I think we recorded like 4 episodes in a week.
Yes.
Because we spent a lot of January away with MagFest and our honeymoon. And we didn't miss a step.
Yes.
I was very proud of the fact that we did not miss a single
we didn't miss a single upload. And like our sister channel, Plus 2 Comedy Gaming, also didn't miss any uploads.
Yeah, that's insane. Because like I'm looking at them and I can tell exactly when we recorded because it's when it's the date on the Google Drive with all my notes. Because it'll say last opened, and it's last opened to the day we recorded. And I'm looking at this, and they're very close together. And Area 57, we actually recorded when I was deathly ill.
Yeah, you were sick that day.
Yeah, Area 57, like, we were trying to not lose the backlog. And I am the Walking Dead in that episode. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember a lot of that episode.
There wasn't anything remarkable about that show. It was just a failure, that show.
Yeah, Heat Vision and Jack was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It was a show that, again, I really liked. It was like Squirrel on Head, where you were like, I don't know if this would hold up. And I was like, this is great. I enjoy it. Awesome Town is the reason I don't want to contact that many people who are involved in these shows. Because I'm afraid you're going to contact Yorma and embarrass me. No!
I mean, I tagged him in it when we released the episode.
Hate you.
He didn't respond.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, Awesome Town was really cool.
I don't want to answer for my We actually quote... Awesome Town's another one where we quote it a lot.
Yes.
Because we quote the weird...
the squirrel thing.
The slappy squirrel looking thing, like...
Glasses on.
If you're gonna act like a bitch, you're gonna look like a bitch.
So stupid.
Yeah,
but
like...
we loved it.
But I don't know why we quote that so much, but we do. And that was one of my favorite episodes because Awesome Town was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, like, with these RI pilots, they're, usually 3 of the 4 were about, half an hour long. And Area 57 felt long. Heat Vision Jack and Awesome Town felt short.
Yeah.
And we recorded those within, like, 2 or 3 days of each other.
Yeah.
We recorded Heat Vision and Jack the day before Christmas Eve. And Awesome Town the day after Christmas.
Yeah. Threw some clothes on in the dark.
That song is incredibly tragic.
I will make that joke every December 26th.
You make it every time December 26th is remotely mentioned. And then Generation X, which I really enjoyed. It was so 90s it hurt.
That was one of the most confusing ones we watched. Because it was a TV movie, but we weren't actually watching the TV movie version. We were watching, like, the VHS release. Because there's, like, a scene where they just start swearing, like, hard out of nowhere.
It was such a weird show because the swearing also picks up about an hour in for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, there's no swearing in the first hour of it. And then there starts being swearing. Like, you and I were discussing Watershed.
Yeah, we thought maybe it had something to do with Watershed.
That it was the, like, England release, and we're like, oh, all the kids went to bed. Stay Doomed... Area 57 might be our shortest episode.
Really? How long is it?
35 minutes.
Wow, it really might be.
Because the reviled Exticles episode is 42.
Huh.
I think part of that was I was horrifically ill.
Yeah.
And so I was, like, not all there. We were, like, just doing it to not lose the backlog. We were leaving for our honeymoon, like... 2 days from then.
Yeah.
So we were just trying to keep me alive long enough.
Yep, we had to do it.
Again, I remember none of that episode.
All right, we'll have to re-listen to that one.
Oh, good. Generation X, like I said, was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that ended that month, right?
Yeah, it was a weird show and I enjoyed it.
So our next month was what?
Razzies.
Oh yeah, this is when we did the Razzie month.
So this is a thing we personally have done for a while of... Noah's been doing it longer than I have. I joined in like 2 or 3 years ago about watching all of the Razzie movies every year.
Yes.
And this one was a lot of fun.
Because I've had a few people like, do you want to just do a Razzie podcast with me? And my answer is, kind of, but I don't want to watch those movies again.
Yeah. Because I've thought about, like that was when we were discussing if we wanted to keep going with Stay Doomed, other projects, one of them was going back and watching all of the Razzie movies.
Yes.
So this was a lot of fun to do.
Because this month was Gotti, which I'm going to say on record, I think Gotti might be one of our worst episodes because there's something wrong with the mix.
Yeah.
This is one I've considered trying to re-release because the clips on it are super quiet. And it sucks because it's a really funny episode.
Yeah, I know I was not supposed to have this much fun doing this episode, but I really did.
Because we hated that movie.
Oh my god, I had such a good time then.
Like, it was so confusing that I was afraid we weren't going to be able to make an episode. Because I was like, I can't remember what happened.
I take good notes, so I was like, we'll be able to make an episode. We're going to laugh real hard about it, because I had such a good time watching Gotti, because it was John Travolta's acting is bad. Pitbull is the musical score.
If nothing else...
And every scene takes place on Christmas Eve for some reason.
If nothing else, listen to Laura's version of the Pitbull song at the end.
Oh yeah, because I try to read the lyrics out loud.
Can you read the lyrics to this, please?
And it goes really poorly. Happy Time Murders. This was every year with the Razzies. There's us apologizing for one.
Yeah.
Good movie. 2 years ago.
Fun movie.
Because I remember 2 years ago it was #Justice for Baywatch.
Yeah.
This year the one we apologized for was Happy Time Murders.
Yeah, I think I say it's the best Razzie movie I've seen.
Winchester was an interesting episode because we got to a really interesting conversation about what we thought they were trying to say about guns.
Yeah.
And how my thesis was that they were too chicken to take a real position.
Yeah, and I kind of thought that they were saying guns were good. Because at the end he shoots the ghost in the face.
Yeah, I think it was they were too chicken to be an anti-gun movie.
Yeah.
And so that's why they were like, well, it's going to get solved with a gun.
Yeah. It ends with a good guy with a gun saving the day. I was like, oh, I guess this is pro-gun?
But the whole rest of the movie was so anti-gun.
Yeah.
That, it just felt like they wussed out of taking a position.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
But, it wasn't a bad movie. It had, a couple weird jump scares that kept it from being the movie I felt like it should have been.
I mean, this is the first horror movie you have seen since what?
Well, to be fair, when I was little, I used to watch a lot of thrillers. A lot of older horror movies, like The Uninvited,
okay.
The House on Haunted Hill, something like that.
Oh, with Chris Kattan, where they're locked in the asylum?
No, the one in black and white.
Oh, the Vincent Price one?
Yes. I used to watch a lot of Vincent Price movies as a kid because, I don't know, my parents were weird.
Yeah, I can't get Laura to watch scary. So the fact that we even watched this film is amazing.
But the thing was, if you had kept out a couple of jump scares, this would have been the kind of movie I grew up watching.
Gotcha.
It was a ghost story, not a horror movie.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean when I say that? Because I don't like slasher movies, and I don't like a lot of gore. This had neither.
It's an interesting movie with ghosts.
Yeah.
Rather than, boo, boo.
Which is the opposite of my theme park ride thesis of where I'm like, nah, spin me around, drop me from an elevator, fake ghosts, I'm out.
Yeah, no fake ghosts, please.
Except for Tower of Terror, which I've gotten over. So this was... I really did enjoy Winchester in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a decent movie.
The Razzie movies this year, a lot of them were like, well, this is fine.
Yeah, they were...
There's nothing outright terrible about it.
Unless it was Gotti.
It's just not great.
And then Robin Hood, I remember the conversation with Robin Hood being really fun because we talked about all the technical failures of Robin Hood. Mm-hmm. And, I got real deep into costume design.
Yeah.
Because my background's from theater. And I did student theater, which, if you've ever done student theater, it means you've done a little bit of everything. Because there's not enough of you, so everyone has to do everything, or there's no show. And costume design has to tell a story, and Robin Hood failed so hard at this. Yeah. Marion's a peasant, but Marion's wearing white. And I was like, peasants did not wear white.
Yeah.
That would have been filthy. And it would have signaled her status as not a peasant.
Yeah. And also, you can hear us in real time realize that this is a secret Batman movie.
Yes.
Because the honest trailer for it, comes to the same conclusion. And, it is... it has to be on purpose, a Batman movie.
Yeah, we laughed really, really hard at The Honest Trailer. Because The Honest Trailer, I want to say, came out way after.
Yeah, it came out roughly a while after ours. But, yeah, it's a wild one.
And so when we, like, complained about it, and they were like, yeah, so it's a Batman movie. We're like, we're right!
Yeah, Two-Face's in this.
And then, the first time we ever skip an episode is right after Razzie Month.
Is that the first sick day?
It's, the day you succumbed to food poisoning?
Yeah.
That was the week you almost died.
I think I put up an apology.
You did.
Yeah.
I never listened to it because you were like dead.
Mm-hmm. They were, like, almost needing an ambulance dead.
Had to literally, like, carry you into the car for urgent care dead. It was a bad week.
It was really bad. And we did take the full week to come up with a new episode, right?
Yeah, we said, like, new content March 11th.
Okay.
This went up March 4th. Because it took, like, you were out for a couple days. I actually called in sick to work the next day. Because I'd spent a lot of the night in urgent care. Yeah. And I think I, like, was live texting my boss, like, help.
Yeah, I needed an IV.
Yes. It was oh my god. And you actually just had food poisoning again, like,
yeah,
this
very
weekend.
recently, yeah.
So it's kind of funny that it's like, oh, full circle.
Yeah, I eat garbage.
Yes.
I consume garbage in my podcast life and my real life. Consume garbage.
Yeah, the worst thing is that food poisoning that canceled the March episode was super my fault. Because it was those blueberries.
Yeah, I ate bad blueberries.
But the thing you have to know about Noah is he never eats fresh fruit. Mm-hmm. So I had these blueberries in the fridge and I was like, I gotta put those in the garbage next time I take the trash out. But I'd had this thought privately to myself because you never eat the fresh fruit in the fridge.
Sweet blueberries.
And you threw them in a smoothie.
Yep, it was a mistake.
Oh my god.
I almost died.
You didn't, yeah, it wasn't the food poisoning, it was the dehydration. Like, when I came home, you had only had half of one of the, like, 3 Gatorades I'd put by the bed for you, and I was like, oh no.
I had trouble staying conscious.
It was really bad.
So next month...
Guys.
I was almost doomed.
The next month was, March, which was Comedy Central month. This was kind of a fun month. I enjoyed this month.
Comedy Central month was a very interesting month. It was an interesting, like, selection of things. Like, we weren't tied by a genre. We were tied by a network.
Yeah, and we weren't struggle bussing that hard through this one. Like, this one we had 3 episodes because we didn't add a 4th. We just called March 4th a loss.
Yeah.
So we only did 3 episodes for this month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Busey, which was fun. And, like, I'm with Busey, we were able to get through, like, we didn't, like, have to just struggle bus our way through it.
Yeah, it was a fun show to have on. It stayed fresh. It was, like, one of those weird quasi-reality shows before, like, there was a million of them.
Yeah, this one was a fun one. And then so was the next one, was a quasi-reality show of, it was a Contest Searchlight.
Contest Searchlight.
Which was not a reality show, but it was a takeoff on a reality show.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, and I think one of the more obscure shows we did.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about Contest Searchlight, and, like, a lot of, like, weirdness to it. Like, because we kept saying, like, this ran 4 episodes, and there's clearly a subplot that's been skipped.
Yes. And, like, 2 of the men looked so similar, you and I couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah, we did have a lot of those problems.
Because they were 2, like, white dudes we couldn't tell apart. And then That's My Bush, which is one of my favorite episodes we've done.
Yeah, this is the only episode that got taken down and I had to re-upload.
Yeah?
Yeah, because once again, I included all the songs, and I also included the videos for the songs.
Oh.
So they're like, nope! YouTube was like, you gotta get rid of that. So I had to make a new one and put that one up without the videos.
That's My Bush. Going back to that idea of shows that could not exist in 2019.
Yeah.
This show was a lot of fun to watch, though.
Super fun, super interesting. Definitely was a stay tuned from both of us.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it could not.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun watching it, though, so watch it if you're so inclined.
Yeah.
And then we did straddle the line because April we did Legends Month, and the first Legends Month was also something that aired on Comedy Central.
This was also our April Fool's episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, which I was a little bummed out because you gave up the game in the title. Because it was Not Without My Anus.
Yeah.
And I was super hoping you were going to call it something else.
Oh.
Like they did to us with the South Park. This was a weird episode because we talk about how I was afraid for a lot. Like, we talk about, like, me being afraid of TV.
Yeah, we did that.
For a lot of this episode, and I, like, had that weird fear when things aren't what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
This was a really fun episode to do, though. Like, talking about the backlash and talking about how pissed people were.
Because it's not a very often... Because we also bend what we mean by stay doomed. Because we also started to include, along with, like, Crybaby Lane, like, things that are forgotten or buried.
Yes.
And they don't re-air this episode.
No, because, like, it's also just not great.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it. There's, again, nothing really wrong with it. But it's just, like, a weird throwaway episode of South Park.
It kind of feels like when you and I have to pull together an episode of Stay Doomed, and we're like, you know what? Not Without My Anus. That's fine. And then it's followed up by two of my favorite episodes of the entire show. Because this was Legends Month. The next episode's Cop Rock.
Yo.
I had a lot of fun with Cop Rock. It was...
Oh, no.
It was a 13-episode show, and we didn't struggle bus that hard through it.
Yeah, I remember being, like, really angry, though, a lot.
Yes, because it was bad.
Just outright just hostile towards it. Like, this isn't how you make a musical!
Cop Rock, though, was the show where I really pushed to make it 2 episodes of Stay Doomed.
And we didn't, did we?
You were very against that idea at that time.
Yeah.
You were very, very against having 2-part episodes at this point in recording.
Yeah, well, because there was already a podcast called Let's Watch Cop Rock, where they went episode by episode. And I was like, the way we're different is we cover the whole thing.
Yeah, and, like, it's a 2-hour episode. I clearly start to rush toward the end.
Yeah.
Because when we're recording these very, very long episodes, there's sometimes where I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I have to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. I'm hungry.
Well, there's also the fact that, because we were doing the monthly themes, if we did a 2-parter, one of 2 things would have to happen. We'd lose an episode, or we'd have to upload this on a random day. Yeah. And, like, that screws up the YouTube algorithm and stuff. So that was me trying to protect our show.
Right. I was really pushing because I thought the quality of the episodes would be better. Mm-hmm. And I stand by that, and we eventually do start to do that later. This has one of my favorite YouTube comments of me getting into an argument with somebody.
Oh, do tell.
Because we talk about Heathers the Musical, because I like to talk about Heathers the Musical. At least every 5 episodes I reference it or the film. And somebody goes, tell me the I Want song in Heathers the Musical. And I responded on my own YouTube account.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I was testing to see if they could tell what it could be. And I was like, it me! Yeah. Because it was like me talking about how beautiful is the I Want song. Mm-hmm. And how, like, this is a bad musical. And how, like, I would love to see them try a musical drama again, but following the rules of a musical.
Yeah. I mean, there's that My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or whatever.
Yes.
And that's, I would say, is more of a comedy than...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of serious things that are tackled by it.
Mm-hmm.
Follows the rules of musical theater better, but we will never cover it because it ran like 5 seasons.
This is also another one of our episodes.
Hi, Rachel Bloom.
That is super copyright claimed because we play, like, 3 seconds of She Loved Me from Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
And Disney just pounced on it.
Oh, Disney gonna get you.
And, like...
I'm surprised they didn't just kill Nightmare Ned.
Well, we're supposed to be able to play 30 seconds. And, like, before you get copyright claim. It might be 20. But, like, we play 3 seconds just so we could listen to the comparison between 2 songs. And they're like, nope.
Yeah, Cop Rock... It was a It was one of the longer shows. It was 13 one-hour episodes.
Yeah.
Because I start refusing to do 22-episode seasons at this point because we just can't get through them in time.
Yeah, because we have no backlog at this point, so we have a week to watch and record now.
Yeah.
And edit.
Yes, and, like, that editing thing is what really kills us a lot because it is an undertaking to edit these shows.
Yeah. It takes me probably 4 hours to edit an episode.
And then is one of my favorite episodes, and probably one of our most popular episodes, is Turn On.
Yeah, Turn On is a very popular episode.
Turn On, I want to do this again. I already know what show I want to do this with.
Yeah.
Should there be a future in Stay Doomed. We went up to the Paley Center in New York in the archives.
Because it's the only place to watch it.
And we watched both existing episodes of Turn On. Mm-hmm. And it was fascinating. Like, we went there, it was us and, like, a little girl who's just living her best life, being, like, a miniature entertainment dweeb. She's gonna have a podcast in 5 years.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be better than anything I could do. This was a crazy show to watch. And just everything around this episode was so much fun to research. How it just, like... This one's also very popular.
Yeah, check it out. It's the only episode without any clips in it. There is clips in it because there is a 10-second clip from a PBS show where they show part of Turn On. So I grabbed it and stuck it in our podcast.
Yes.
And it's this insane show. It might be one of the oldest shows we cover.
Yeah, it's almost definitely, I think, because it airs in 1969.
Yeah, that predates Look Well.
Yeah, this is very interesting. One of the comments that we get on it was like, why knock a show if you haven't seen it? Which made me be like,
Did someone actually say that to us?
Yeah. And I was like, but we did.
But we did. That's the whole premise.
We watched the show. We did it.
Why knock a show if you haven't seen it? He said, not listening to the show he's commenting about.
Yeah, like, it was really, really interesting to have this opportunity available to us. I really wish more of the Paley Center archives were available online, even for, like, a fee.
Yeah.
Because I would pay American dollars for access that didn't involve me having to go to New York City, because that's a hard thing to do with my schedule.
I'm sure the reason is if they made it available on your home computer, people would take it. There's a moment when we're in the Paley Center where I consider trying to record part of the episode through the headphones on my phone. Mm-hmm. And, I remember I was looking around seeing, would I get caught doing this? And, I think it would be a great addition to our show. But I also see, it would hurt the specialness of this episode.
Yes.
Since it is, something that is truly hard to see.
Yeah, I really liked doing this. It's really cool to be able to get these lost episodes. I kind of would like to go up to New York with just the sheer plan of going to the Paley Center,
and doing a couple.
Yeah, and, going there in the morning, taking a break, going there in the afternoon, taking a break. Because I will say... Go back
to the hotel, record, come back, watch something new.
Well, also, we watched 1 hour of TV. We watched Turn On, and we felt like we were going crazy by the end of it.
Oh, yeah, we were out of our minds.
Yeah, we had to go to Central Park and, pet dogs.
Yeah, because we were out of it. And somebody comments on this, I saw it live, and just some people aren't ready for it.
Yeah, I was 16 when this aired, and I lived where the full episode aired. I loved it. And, it was interesting, and we were just yeah, we couldn't.
And I believe this is the episode where in the comments I'm trying to have an honest discussion with someone about something.
Yeah.
And we're both trying very hard to specify we are not trying to start an argument. Where it's no, I value your opinion. I'm just curious about your thoughts about this.
Yeah,
it's hard because we're posting on the internet that you're going to assume I'm being hostile.
Yeah, please recognize how civil I am being at this time. But this was one of my favorite episodes to do. Actually, this month was one of my favorite months to do, this Legends month.
Yeah, this was fascinating.
Because we got to do a lot of really cool things. And also we did Heil Honey, I'm Home.
Yes.
Heil Honey, I'm Home was the show that started Stay Doomed.
Yeah.
Because in my now defunct blog, Pretty Nerdy Things, I had actually written an article about Stay Doomed that I did use as a source because I'd already done research on it.
Yeah.
It was the show that started this project, essentially. Yeah. And it is hard to watch and bad.
Yeah, you hear me getting, like, upset trying to describe the show.
But we have an amazing conversation about it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a good episode of Stay Doomed.
Yes.
It's another short one. It's like 40... We do have a run of pretty short shows. Because these are half-an-hour shows and there's only so much you can talk about them. We had a really good time with this one.
Yeah, it's...
The show is bad, but the conversation is good.
The conversation's very good, but, like, it leaves such a nasty taste in your mouth.
Yeah, it's a bad show. Speaking of nasty tastes, Puchinsky.
Puchinsky! I can't believe it exists. It's about a cop who dies and becomes a dog.
Yeah, it's a bad show. It was fun to talk about because of, like, how much it fails.
Yeah, it fails pretty hard.
But, like, otherwise, this is not one of our best episodes. It's not a particularly notable thing we watched. It wasn't particularly enjoyable. This was one of the times we watched garbage. We watched it because it was very famously garbage.
Yeah.
The next month we're now in May, and it's specials month.
Yes. This is...
kind of a cop-out.
Well, no... I disagree completely with that line of thinking. Because we have had... At this point, we are discussing ending the show.
Yes.
And one of the months I pitched from the beginning is, I want to do TV specials. And we explained in the beginning, like, many TV specials come back and do more. And if we were ending the show, I wanted to make sure we got this month in.
I get you.
So I don't think we're copping out at all.
I think I'm also looking at it as we are at the end of my school year, and I'm looking at it as survival mode. So I was like, yeah, this is a good month to do special month because I am dying.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely us choosing something that's not 13 episodes long.
Yes.
But, like, I think a lot of our best episodes are this month.
The first one we did is Eaten Alive.
Which I think is a great episode.
Eaten Alive, like... my God, that was a weird show to watch.
It's the story of a team hunting a snake that will eventually swallow one of them whole and then regurgitate him.
I think this was a weird month because all 4 shows were garbage.
Oh, I don't think I said that this one was garbage. I believe I liked this show a lot.
You liked it. I mean, it was an anticlimax because he doesn't get eaten by the snake.
But, like, there's also, at the end of that, like, some sort of feeling of, like, this guy will be back to do another show.
Yeah.
And, like, there's almost like a cliffhanger in this one. So, yeah, he doesn't really get eaten by a snake. What can I say?
And then we tackle a very famous one. We tackle the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes, I've had a lot of good feedback about this episode.
I had a lot of fun because you had never seen it, correct?
I had attempted to watch it in college with the MST3 commentary and could not get through it. And I'm going to be honest, almost don't get through it this time.
I watched it in the middle of the night alone one summer.
It's real bad.
Because it was the forbidden fruit. And this was, like, at the beginning of being able to find that stuff. Because I'm going to say, based on how... it was probably, like, 2007 when I watched this the first time. And being able to find it was a thrill.
Yeah.
And then I actually had to message a friend and be like, are we dead? Is this hell? See, you got a lot of good feedback on this episode.
Yeah, a lot of people came up to me and was like, yo, like, I remember this. I had a friend of mine, Anthony, I'll just drop your name, explained to me that when he was young, he was really excited for it. And as punishment for doing something, his dad didn't let him watch it.
Oh, no.
And, like, he cried in his room, and then the next day at breakfast, they were like, we shouldn't have watched it. It would have been more painful to make you sit and watch this.
It was a weird show.
Yeah. If you want to watch Carrie Fisher super high.
Oh, she is.
She is visibly crazy high.
Yeah, Space Mom is in space.
Yeah.
And I say that with nothing but love for Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Because she's one of my favorite people. She's so high in this.
She's crazy high.
Then we watched The Mystery of Al Capone's Vaults.
Yes, because that was another one that was like...
A legend.
It was something that, like, when we were kicking around this idea, was one of the first ones we thought about doing.
And, like, something that still stands up in pop culture. People still reference it.
Yeah.
God, this was hard to get through. This was, like, only an hour, or it was, like, a 2-hour broadcast, and you and I were like, ugh.
Yeah, like, for long stretches of time, nothing of value happens.
Yeah, this was a hard one to get through. Like, this was not a fun...
Yeah, building up to a moment where nothing of value happens.
And then the last one for that month was Cartoon All-Stars.
Yes, which I think on YouTube I still need to re-upload.
Yeah, it's not on here.
There's an issue with it. I believe like I accidentally only uploaded a 5-minute clip.
Yes, something like
so
that.
I need to fix that still. But the full version is available on the Podbean and iTunes and Stitcher and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, another fascinating look at like something that could never happen again.
Yeah, because they're... I mean, I guess it could if Disney sponsored it, because they own everything.
Now they own everything, yeah.
So...
But yeah, it happened decades before Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Ugh. Sorry, you're playing Kingdom Hearts 3 right now.
It's real bad and it makes me angry.
Yep. But, like, I remember you and I talking at length about, like, being afraid of the music video before it.
Oh, the Love Lifted Me video.
Yeah, like, something about the child's voice is really, like, unnerving to both of us.
Because I went to another place and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm in danger.
Yeah, which is how I feel in credits all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it was the closest you've ever come to understanding when I start to, like, be visibly agitated during certain, like, credits, disclaimers, content warnings. There's something that, like, raises that danger reaction in me.
Right.
And that was the closest you've ever come to, like, also having that.
Yeah, feeling it.
So that was Specials Month. And then the next month, we eschew theme months.
Yeah, this is where we were just like, we announced that we were going to end the show.
Yeah.
And we were only going to do requests.
And we had a varying level of requests. So there was a few things we did that weren't necessarily requests.
Yeah.
But the first one we did was a request called Life Sentence.
Yes, Life Sentence on the CW, which is definitely one we would not have done.
No.
Without it being requested.
But it was fun.
It's one we still kind of talk about.
Yeah, like, I made a joke about you being Stella Abbott.
Yeah.
And you got really mad at me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that show was, like, I think it's the newest show we ever did.
Easily.
And it's just a CW show that with a premise that was unsustainable and not very good.
And, like, everyone in the cast is trying real hard. It has that, it leans really hard into that romantic love triangle false lead thing I can't stand.
Yeah.
And also, like, the guy who plays the doctor's so weirdly unlikable.
A lot of the people in this show are unlikable.
Yeah, like, there's about half the cast that you're like, I like this person, then half the cast you're like, stop it.
Once you like someone, they disappear for a few episodes.
Yeah, like the little girl she mentors.
Yeah.
Remains likable. Her doctor.
Yeah.
Is crazy likable, and then you never see her again.
Her sister and her brother-in-law.
Yeah, who are, like, really funny
the normal people who fade away out of nowhere.
Yeah, like, this is a weird... This is definitely the most recent show, because I believe the show aired in 2017.
Yeah.
Maybe 2018. Like, this show was very recent. It's gonna bother me, so I'm gonna Google it. Yeah, it aired in 2018. So this was, like, this finished airing right before we started recording Stay Doomed.
Yeah, wow.
So this was a very recent episode. There's a few 2010s shows that we're talking about addressing in the future.
Yeah.
So, this was an episode. This happened.
Yeah, that was kind of our feeling towards the show. Like, yeah, that definitely happened. Well, not a good idea.
The next one was one you and I had both seen before. Because the next one was Wrestling Society X.
Yes. This was another great request, and, like, very, very interesting to discuss, like, where those wrestlers are today. And, like, that was one where I had done most of the research, because it's something I found fascinating. Which, by the way, sir, there's a little jingle that plays whenever I do research that I did not tell Laura I include in the show. And she never picked up on this. Anytime I do research, I yell, "I did some research!" So I have a spot where I cut in my jingle. And my goal was to see how long I could do that without Laura knowing that I was doing it. Because Laura does research and I edit.
Yes.
And usually the two never cross. And then someone sent us an email ratting me out that I include a jingle about me doing research.
Yeah, and I notoriously dislike hearing my own voice.
Yes.
So I never listen, I don't listen to our own podcast very often.
So I was curious how long it would take, and now that has been ruined because someone requested that I do it more in an email. I was like, oh yeah.
They wanted you to do it one last time because we were ending the series.
Oh, gotcha. Well, it's good. I'll definitely include it here.
Yeah, and I'm going to find out. The next one was Look Well, which was a really fun little, quick episode.
Yeah, it's one that we were low on time, so we threw it in there. And this is also right around where people were contacting us, upset we were ending the show.
Yeah, this was about when people were like, wait a minute, no. And this was which was a nice feeling about people being like, no, but I like this show.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. But at this point, the show is still ending.
Yeah.
So, but this was a fun, quick episode. I do love these, one-episode wonders because they are a good way to, when we have some longer shows, they're a good way to pad out.
Yeah.
So that we can stay on the weekly schedule. Mm-hmm. The next one was the TV Wheel. And I think this wins for show we wanted to like and didn't.
Yeah, this is one that was, again, top of the list when we started this show.
Yeah, and we wanted to love it.
Really wanted to include, and we really wanted to like it. Doug Benson shows up again.
Yes.
And it's just, it's not there. It is just, you can't get over the hurdle to like it.
No, and it has this incredible cast that's horrifically underused. There's just not time to use them well.
It's a really hard thing that doesn't have the value of existing. It's too hard to exist without a payoff. Just do things an easier way. Yes.
The next one was Clerks.
Clerks was an interesting episode. This was another one that was it was close to the top of the list when we were coming up with the show idea.
Yeah, this one we actually have an argument during.
Yeah.
Because we don't agree on something, and I dig my heels in real hard about how I don't like Clerks that much.
Yeah. Because I love Clerks. Not the show. I love the film.
And how I don't even really like the film that much either. And this was an interesting episode because it's one of the few episodes where we really vehemently disagree on something.
Yes. But it also has one of my favorite moments, which is... This might be my favorite moment in the series that we do. Where you say something like, when I compare Clerks to Empire Records, I prefer Empire. And I say blasphemy, which is a line from Clerks. The fact that you accidentally do that is hilarious to me.
And I just I don't get it. I'm I don't care.
You do not see the value of this at all, and I am over the moon that this happened.
Yeah, this episode was tough. This is also one of the last episodes we record at night.
Yes.
Because that's another thing we noticed is right now it is full daylight.
Yeah, it is pre 4 o'clock.
Yeah, we're gonna catch the early bird special at the diner after this.
Yeah.
So
cream of turkey soup.
So we were recording a lot of them at night. Mm-hmm. And the burnout is audible on some of the episodes.
Yeah, you hear us burning out.
Where you can see that we're looking at the clock and it's really time that we need to, and it's always on a school night.
Yeah.
And since we both work in education, I can say it's school night.
Mm-hmm.
So we're both looking at the clock being oh my god, I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up early tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And so we switched right around the next episode to recording during the day.
Right.
And I think the difference is palpable. Mm-hmm. Because the end of the Clerks episode, I'm exhausted. And I'm, like, getting annoyed at the world, and you, and life, and Kevin Smith in particular.
Yep.
So then, like, the next one we do is Holmes and Watson, which, by the way, is only a 5-minute clip on YouTube.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Crap.
Yeah, so that's a problem. I have the sound down because I was just looking to see if there were comments. So I don't know what 5-minute clip it is. Could be anything.
All right, so that's another one that gets to get fixed.
Yep. So that's... that was ending the Razzies. This was the worst movie we watched. Like,
Yeah.
Gotti, I derived joy out of.
I think I still say Gotti's worse.
Yeah, I think we do disagree on this because I have the argument that I derived some pleasure out of Gotti.
Yeah, but the pleasure you derive out of Gotti is not on purpose.
Yeah. But I still enjoyed it. It was weird finishing a theme month so late.
Yeah, but it was one of those things like we owed this episode, so we have to get it out there before we end.
Yes. And then we start doing the last 3 episodes, which are all reality shows, so it's a nice full circle thing. It was not intentional. The last 5. Oh, wait.
Yeah, no, I was like, that's not true.
I forgot about one. So then out of the next 4 episodes, 3 of them are reality shows, so we do kind of end where we started. The next one we did is one that probably should have been a 2-parter.
Daisy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Daisy of Love probably should have been a 2-parter. This was right before...
How long is Daisy?
2 hours.
Okay.
And it's another one of those ones where toward the end I'm like, all right, it is 2... That one I wasn't tired because we had reverted to recording during the day.
Yeah.
But I could see that we were running, like, probably longer than the actual episode because there are pauses, there are things we cut. But I was like, oh my god, we're running 2 hours. I gotta wrap this
This
up.
one's gonna run 2 hours, so...
Yeah. This one, we're almost at the end of the shows, and then we'll have some talking about after.
Yeah.
So we're good. Daisy of Love was a lot of fun to do. Daisy of Love, we realized that there was a competitor who works near here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be creeps soon.
Yeah, we're gonna have to creep on him soon. But Daisy of Love was, like, the one that Laura wanted to do more than anything.
I love Daisy of Love.
So we had to do it.
God, I love Daisy of Love. I've been watching Rock of Love Bus, like, just for fun.
Yeah.
Like, I've been communicating with another podcast called Reality Graveyard, just in, like, Rock of Love gifs.
Yeah, just to talk about it.
Because I just enjoy it. So this was a fun one for me to do. And then the next 2 episodes are Opposite Worlds.
Yes. Opposite Worlds was requested by a lot of people.
Yes.
So it's like, we have to... Opposite Worlds, I think, was the first request we received.
And it was from one of our really good friends asked us to do it.
Yeah, our friend Emily was like, I love the new podcast. Do Opposite Worlds, please.
Oh, Danielle and Dave, 2 of our other friends.
Oh, yeah.
Also, like, who didn't ever email the account. They just told me.
They told us to our faces.
And then they made us watch the Jenny Nicholson video to sell us on doing Opposite Worlds.
And, like, this is one of our favorite episodes, or I shouldn't speak for you. It's one of my favorite episodes because of Jenny Nicholson. Because a lot of people's only experience with this show is Jenny Nicholson. And as much as I love her video, she gets a lot of stuff wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, we end up being like, you know, Jenny Nicholson says this. Here's the reality, though.
Yeah.
So it was fun to do that and kind of be like, kind of take another perspective at Opposite Worlds.
And we had the benefit of way more time than she did. Because she made a 20-minute video.
Yeah, we made 2 1-hour videos.
We made 3 hours.
Is it 3 hours?
We did 2 hour-and-a-half long.
Jesus.
As I'm talking about Jenny Nicholson, I have like a Porg plushie in the corner that I feel like is looking at me disapprovingly because I've insulted his mother. But doing this was also our first 2-parter, and I think this really benefited from being a 2-parter.
Yeah, because since we're no longer doing the theme months at this point,
yeah,
like, we can do a 2-part episode and not lose something.
Yeah.
And we can just release it the next week.
And I think that was a really helpful thing for us, and it's definitely something we're going to go forward with.
Yes.
The next episode was Little Muppet Monsters, which I think comes in second for shows we really wanted to enjoy and didn't enjoy as much.
Yeah. Little Muppet Monsters is also one of the shows that kind of saves the project. Because we learned about Little Muppet Monsters through Defunct Land.
Yeah, bless Defunct Land.
And you turned to me and like, I want to do a Stay Doomed episode on this. And I was on the boat of like, we're only doing 52 episodes because that's exactly a year's worth of episodes. And then we're done. So when you said I want to do Little Muppet Monsters, I was like, well, that's going to cost us Firefly.
Yeah.
What did we do after this?
The Quest.
The Quest. I was like, this is going to cost us either Firefly or The Quest. And we end up doing The Quest and not doing Firefly. And, like, we kind of start getting reinvigorated. Even though we didn't enjoy really watching this show. But we're not recording it, on a weeknight. We're recording it in the weekend during the day.
I think Opposite Worlds was actually one of the episodes, too, that we were like, man, this was fun. Because we talk about the broken gameplay and, like, the ridiculousness of it. And we were like, oh, this is why we enjoyed this. And then the last pair of episodes really reinforces how much we liked this project. And it's The Quest.
The Quest.
Because The Quest brought forth something we didn't see coming.
Yeah.
This incredible, passionate, still existent fan base for a 5-year-old show. Mm-hmm. And, like...
The Quest was fascinating.
And, like, The Quest was another show that had interesting gameplay. It was interesting to look behind the curtain. We had a lot of fun doing these episodes. And we kind of got this, like... Is this over?
Yeah, kind of feeling.
And we had discussed what our next project would be.
Yeah.
The Quest, I think, is too recent to really talk about retrospectively.
Yeah.
Because it was last week.
Yeah, just listen to that episode.
And we're not
done talking
about the Quest. We're not wholly done with the Quest either. But we had this feeling of, like, man, we had a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
And then we'd pitched numerous other, like, lots of other projects. And there was not one we were that moved by.
Yeah, one of them, the one I think we got the closest with was the Batman project, which was something we talk about on a random episode of Stay Doomed.
Yeah.
And, like, in it I say, hey, maybe that's the next project, knowing full well that it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It was just a funny thing that, like, came up organically in an episode. And then we spent the day, like, discussing it. And then we were like, maybe this will be the next project. And then we still just didn't like it enough.
Yeah, because there was still going to be a lot of consumption with it. Mm-hmm. There was going to be a lot of media consumption and a lot of hunting.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't agree on what, like, the key question with Stay Doomed is stay doomed or stay tuned. We couldn't find anything where we could constructively answer a question. Because I think the closest we got was, is it Christmas?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do movies and TV shows that took place around Christmas and set parameters for what makes it a Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. And then argue over whether, like, Die Hard,
Gremlins,
Iron Man 3, whether we clearly have a list because we were talking about it, Batman Returns, whether these movies were Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And I think that was, to me, that was the closest project. Because it had an answerable question that we could argue over, and I freaking love Christmas.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, but you were never that into it. The Batman one, you wanted to come up with all these criteria, and then I wasn't that into it. Mm-hmm. So there was not another project that we both connected with the way we've connected with Stay Doomed.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that really knocked us out with Stay Doomed in certain months was the theme.
Yeah. So, moving forward, we are going to continue the project.
Yep, Stay Doomed is not doomed!
Not doomed, it's a stay tuned.
Surprise!
But one of the big things we're doing moving forward is we are not doing themes.
Correct.
Because originally we liked the theme month because it forced us to, like, look in areas and try to figure out, like, well, what are we going to do? But the other thing that it did that really hurt, like, our enthusiasm to it is we would find a show we really wanted to do that fit the theme and then not be able to find it.
Yeah.
Because we really wanted, for, like, Game Show Month was the one that I think we had the most shows.
We had so much trouble.
Which is why we got to the point where we're like, screw it, we only have one episode of Trashed and we'll do it.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't find Who's Your Daddy?
Yeah.
We couldn't find...
the John Cena one.
I don't know how hard I looked for that one.
Oh, I know that was one you mentioned.
Because that was a reality show.
Ah.
Because we had a difference on what a game show is versus reality show.
Okay.
but we couldn't find Downfall, the Chris Jericho one. We couldn't find the other one that we had this problem with was Specials.
Yes,
because I super wanted to do Celebrity Daredevils. Like that was the number one show I wanted to do was Celebrity Daredevil, where there's it's Dennis Rodman bungee jumping.
Yeah,
and I remember watching it live, and it's a train wreck. Could not find it.
Right.
And there's just a bunch of other stuff that we were trying desperately to find and couldn't.
Yeah, because I'm seeing Downfall in my list.
Mm-hmm. The John Cena one, because we never did Wrestling Month.
No.
Wrestling Month was one we were supposed to do. And because that's another thing that really hurt us is Wrestling Month was a big one we wanted to do where we watched... I wanted to watch Celebrity Wrestling, which we couldn't find.
Right.
I wanted to watch Manhunt, which still is on the table.
Yeah.
And I wanted to watch Wrestlelicious, which I think is now getting a second season.
Yeah, and I was pushing for Tag Team.
Yeah, we were going to do Tag Team, which was another big one.
Yeah.
And that one just fell off. And the other one was Mythos Wannabes you wanted to do.
Yeah, which is your... I'm actually looking at it on my original notes for this. It was your Terra Nova, your The Event, these shows that were big... that wanted to be lost.
Yeah, wanted to be lost. Because one that fit this category that was, again, first round ideas that we wanted to do was Do No Harm.
Yeah, Dr. Facehands.
Dr. Facehands, as we like to call it. And we couldn't find it. We couldn't find Do No Harm. And everyone in Mythos Wannabes was 12 one-hour episodes. And I was like, this is going to kill us.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the other reasons we're a little more open to these two-parters.
Yes.
Is because also when you hit 13 hours of content, it becomes way harder to synthesize that down into a 1 hour, 1 hour and a half long show.
Yes. So what is going to be Stay Tuned moving forward is there will not be a theme. We are still taking lots of suggestions. So, please...
Keep those suggestions coming.
Keep the suggestions coming, because we'd rather do a suggested one than something that we just pick. And it's going to be a lot more of, pilots.
Weird stuff we find.
Weird stuff. And then, a longer show that will probably be 2 episodes.
Yeah, we're going to look for more, curios. By the way, I've been looking at my notes.
Yeah?
For that we're back in November. Little Muppet Monsters is in my notes.
Oh, wow, really?
So I apparently at some point knew it existed, but I didn't know anything about it.
Huh. Interesting. So what we've discovered that will make the show, we think, stronger,
yes,
prevent burnout, is we're going to get rid of the themes. We're going to mix doing very short stuff with longer stuff. We're not going to be afraid to break longer stuff up into multiple episodes.
Yeah. We're going to keep recording during the day because that's been working out really nicely.
We officially release on Tuesdays now instead of Mondays.
Yes.
Because originally we wanted it to come out on Mondays so we could promote it on Reddit.
Yes.
At to its maximum. But because of that, we had to record during the week so that I could edit in time.
Yes.
So we could release on Monday. Now that I have Monday also to edit, we can record on the weekends.
Yes.
And move forward that way. The other big thing we want to do is guests.
Yes.
We're reaching out to as many people as possible.
Yeah, so if you've been on one of these shows and at Stay Doomed follows you on Twitter, let me slide into them DMs.
So we are almost... We are as close to definite as we can be without being definite on doing interviews with people from the Quest.
Yes, we're in discussions with Patrick and Bonnie.
Yeah, so that will probably be the next episode.
Yes.
We will be reaching out to basically someone from every past show that we've done.
Yeah, we're going to start getting creepy.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to get someone from, Lookwell to be on our show. But we're reaching out to as many people as possible.
Yeah,
we want to do more interviews.
We're getting creepy, folks. It's going to be real fun.
Yeah. So
if you happen to, because this is relevant with the Quest, I had mutuals with a disturbing number of cast members from the Quest.
Yeah.
So if you happen to know any of these people,
yeah,
let me know. DM us on Twitter.
I'd love to talk to someone who was on Whodunit.
Oh yeah, I'm reaching out to I think I creep followed everyone on Whodunit.
Cool.
So I'm going to be reaching out to them. And that's also going to be a way that we can kind of have these interview episodes that will kind of break up a lot of the other content.
Yeah.
So that when we have an interview episode, because there isn't as much preparation, we can do an interview episode and then be able to do a Terra Nova or a Do No Harm that runs longer the next week because we'd have more of that time.
Yeah.
Also when we have convention appearances and what have you.
Mm-hmm. And, like, losing the strict schedule of, like, we have to do 4 shows that fit a theme. Like, getting rid of that is really going to help us.
Yeah, especially when those shows are similar, because that's always very hard.
Yeah, and the other thing that's keeping us doing this is we realized there was a lot of shows we still just never got to.
Yeah.
That were like we have to do this show. One of them is Manhunt.
Yes.
That was one that we're like, super want to get to. I always said Firefly would be episode 100.
Yes.
So it's back in that slot.
Yep.
Of being episode 100.
I think it's going to be really interesting with you seeing that.
Mm-hmm. But what's especially interesting is that's probably more than a year away still.
Probably.
If we're going to be doing 2-part episodes and interviews, like Firefly just got way pushed back.
Yeah, it's not going to be next summer.
I will say this. There are 2 theme months that we are still going to do.
Yes.
We still want to do Backdoor Pilots month. Because that month is, like, the most interesting to us. And it's making us look in areas we don't normally look.
It's also a really good one to drop around the holidays when everything's insane.
Yeah.
And it's good for you guys, because you get these nice, like, quick, digestible episodes when you're running your holiday errands.
Yeah.
And then you go pick up, like, a Frasier DVD for somebody, because we watched a Backdoor Pilot that had something to do with Frasier.
Yeah. Because everybody wanted the Niles show.
Yo, I love Frasier.
I know you do. And we are still going to do Razzies month.
Yes.
Because that is a tradition, and it will continue to happen.
Yeah, we're still going to watch them, so you still have to listen to us talk about them.
Yeah!
And you know what? Since we're going to be doing them during the day, the Razzies always has at least one episode that records on a snow day.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we'll be less than sober for one of them next year.
Yay!
Because we've never done that, and that's going to be fun for Noah the editor later.
Yeah. So we want to do more interviews. We want to go deeper into these shows. And is there any on your list that, like, oh, we still have to do this?
Let me see, because I still want to do the Jim Henson Hour.
Yeah, the Jim Henson Hour is definitely on that list.
Another thing that we discussed was Double Doomed.
Yeah.
Shows that ran one season on one network were canceled, were revived on another network, and then canceled in one season on that.
Yeah.
And again, we're not doing theme months, but my best example of this is Muppets Tonight.
Yeah, Muppets Tonight, and one that got suggested a bunch was Erie, Indiana.
Yes.
And we were about to start watching Erie, Indiana when we discovered there was another season of it.
Yes, and then we were like, we don't have the ability to do this right now.
It doesn't qualify.
And then Undeclared is one I think we should do.
Undeclared was definitely one. There's a couple in Comedy Central month that I was like, we didn't even do this one. Because I wanted to do Kid Notorious.
Yes.
Which is notoriously bad.
Yeah.
I for Backdoor Pilot month, I really want to do Judge Fudge.
What is that?
It's a fake Backdoor Pilot that exists in Drawn Together.
Okay.
So that's one I wanted to do.
Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain was one you and I talked about a lot.
Yeah.
There was a couple Nicktoons because it was so rare for them to only run one season.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Planet Sheen.
Yes.
And The X's.
The X's, yes.
Which I really enjoyed as a show.
And Pelswick.
Yes. And then one of the other ones I was really thinking about was Powerless.
Powerless, yeah.
Which is another recent show. It was in the DC universe. And it was essentially about, like, claims adjusters.
Yeah.
Like, insurance claims adjusters. I was really interested in that show.
And so many reality shows. Like, reality shows seem to work best.
Yeah, they're so much fun to do, too.
So, like, and this is another one that, like, we were bummed out because there were so many we could not find. We could not find The Family. We could not find, Dude, Seriously, I'm Gay. We could not find, Miriam Has a Secret, or there's something about Miriam. We couldn't find that one. Megan Wants a Millionaire.
I was waiting for you to say, because I was going to drop it if you didn't.
We've searched for Desperately. We were talking about doing Britney Spears' Chaotic for a while.
Did that only run one season?
That only ran like 4 episodes. Because it's abysmal. Because it's them running around with handheld cameras.
That's right. The first episode's on YouTube, at least.
I mean, there's a lot of, like, we found the first episode, and then we thought we had all of it, and then we didn't.
Yeah, it ran 5 episodes, so that's going to be something I'm gonna look for, because I don't think we talked about it that much.
And we finally broke the cherry of, like, if it's something we really want to do, we will buy it.
Yeah, which we had been trying not to do, because we didn't want this to get very expensive as a project.
But if we're at the point where we're only watching, like, we're not watching as much because we're doing interviews and stuff like that, we're going to be more willing to purchase things.
Especially if it's something that we really want.
Yeah. Flash Forward. That's another one.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of these, because I have a list that I've had going, and I bold them out as we've done them. Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of things. There's a whole category that you and I didn't touch that was in the original group called Cartoon Cash-In.
Yeah.
And it's these TV cartoons that are bred of IPs.
Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite was on that.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the Bubsy cartoon.
Yeah.
There's tons of them.
Yeah, so there's so much that we just really want to get to. And I know a lot of people have suggested this, and I'll tell you what, if we get... We'll set some arbitrary goal.
Yeah.
That if this happens, I promise this episode will happen. And that's Blood Drive. Because Laura has refused to watch it. So, if we... How many subscribers do we have on our YouTube?
No, there needs to be like some kind of tribute paid unto me.
No, what I was going to say is, if we get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I will find a way to do it with someone else. Laura's refused to do it. It'll be a special episode with a special co-host, and we'll watch Blood Drive.
Or, stay with me, guys. We use this as leverage and Laura gets a dog. I want a dog, guys. You're cutting this out.
Yeah, super cut. That is super cut from this show.
Because everyone would rally around getting me a dog.
Mm-hmm. Noah, remember to cut this.
So, I mean, yeah, that might be the one you have to do without me, because it's all the things when we were talking about Winchester that I can't deal with, of horror and gore.
It's pretty gory.
So that
but
might
it's
be...
cartoon gore.
You should try that with guest host Vegas Lancaster.
Yeah, maybe me and Vegas will do it.
Yeah, because I could see that going really well. That sounded sarcastic, but it's not sarcastic. I could see that being a great show.
So, here's the 2 things that need to happen for the Blood Drive episode to happen. Either 1, we get to 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Or 2, suggest something for Laura to do without me.
Yes.
That will be her episode without me. Something that I would refuse to watch.
It can't be Megan Wants a Millionaire. We're making him watch it. Don't betray me, America.
But that's definitely on the list.
So before we wrap up,
yeah,
we did get a couple questions from a fan named Andrew Miller.
Yeah.
Hi, Andrew. We did answer a few of them.
Yeah.
Organically, because he said, "Are there any you had high hopes for that turned out to be awful?"
Yeah, that's
Little Muppet Monsters and the TV Wheel.
Little Muppet Monster and TV Wheel. And I think you kind of went in happy about Nightmare Ned.
Yeah, I went in really hopeful.
And I went in pretty hopeful for Good Family. And that was abysmal.
Any hidden gems you found? I think The Quest was a hidden gem, for sure.
Yeah, I think...
Whodunit?
I think people who know of... I think a lot of people know that Clone High was good.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'd call that a hidden gem.
That's why I didn't call it a hidden gem. Because I was like, I think that's a cult classic.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely say Whodunit would be a hidden gem.
The Quest.
The Quest. Awesome Town?
Awesome Town. And then he said personal favorite.
It's really hard for me to say anything besides Clone High. But, if you want to say personal favorite episode of the show...
Yeah.
I would say Superstar USA, Heil Honey I'm Home, and Turn On.
I would say Turn On. Daisy of Love, because I'm so happy during it. Because I'm so happy while we're doing that episode. And I think for me, Robin Hood, because the conversation's interesting.
Robin Hood's really good.
We really get into why it fails on a filmmaking level. Mm-hmm. And to me, like, those are the conversations I wanted this podcast to be predicated on.
Do you remember which episode we had to record twice?
Oh, God.
Because there's one episode where we lose the audio. I forget what happens, but it stops working. And it's a shame because, like, I remember there's a moment I get so upset in the episode that I leave. Mm-hmm. Like, I get up and I'm just like, no! And I run away, and it was very funny. And we lose that audio. And, like, we can't recapture the magic.
I think it was Happy Time Murders.
Was it Happy Time Murders?
Might be. I know it was in, like, the first group. Like, I know it wasn't any of the specials. It wasn't any of the legends.
Maybe it was Happy Time Murders.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, which one we had to re-record. I don't think it was one of the pilots.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, I think that was the one we... Because I remember, like, it was pretty early on that we lost one.
Yeah. So, any other trivia about Stay Doomed that you found in your research?
Man, I sound tired in some of the middle episodes. I think moving toward a recording during the day and not burning the candle at both ends system is going to work out so much better for us. It's going to enable us to do this project more to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
And not slack off on our other projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about moving forward with the show. I'm really excited the show has a future because I already had business cards made up with this.
Yeah.
And we, like, still have, like, 450 of the 500. So
yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
So what's next for Stay Doomed?
We're going to take a little break. This is, I think, the only episode we're going to release in the month of September officially.
Yeah.
Because we want to get back to having that backlog. We want to get back to having things so that we can afford to take these more time. Because the Quest interviews, for instance, Bonnie had a commitment and could not interview in a timely fashion for a week schedule. That's why we actually moved this up a week.
Yeah.
So this gives us more time to coordinate these interviews and do these other shows. So we're actually going to take the month of September off officially as recording. We might release a few, like, fun things here and there.
Yeah, there's going to be, like, an update of other things Plus Two Comedy's doing that should drop in this time slot on this channel.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes.
The next episode, which we've already watched and will be recording shortly, is What's Going On with Mike Mitchell, which was a Funny or Die collaboration.
Yes.
That was set to air on the FX network.
Yeah. Super interesting. And one episode wonder. So go ahead and give that a watch. It won't take you too long.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
So guys, thank you so much for being here with Stay Doomed. And hopefully you'll stick with us for yet another fun-filled season of Stay Doomed.
Yep.
Where can people find us, Laura?
Facebook and Twitter at Stay Doomed. Or you can email us at thestaydoomedshow@gmail.com.
And if you have the desire to be my co-host on a special episode of Stay Doomed where we talk about Blood Drive, I'm at TV's Noah.
If you have any idea of where to find Megan Once a Millionaire, or, for that matter, Muppets Tonight, I'm at Priorities. Until next time, stay doomed.